Right. So today we're diving into something pretty big.
Oh, yeah.
Consciousness.
Yeah, big one.
I mean, we're talking the whole shebang.
The whole...
What is it?
Yeah.
Where does it come from?
Right.
Even does a Roomba get to have it too?
Right.
You know?
The big questions.
Big questions.
Yeah.
We've got all this fascinating research and
Yeah.
philosophy to untangle.
It's interesting. You know, we all kind of experience consciousness, but the second you try to like define it's just slippery.
Right.
And even just like the different types of consciousness. I mean, from just your everyday, being awake and aware to like dreams.
Oh, yeah.
To meditation, to those moments where you're totally absorbed in something challenging to define.
It really is.
Yeah.
I know it when I see it, but how do we go deeper than that?
Well, one way is to look at that age-old mind-body problem.
Yep.
I mean, thinkers have been wrestling with this for centuries. Is it all just like your brain, this, complex symphony of firing neurons? Or is there something more going on?
Is it something beyond the physical?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That leads us right into that whole dualism versus monism thing.
Big battle.
Yeah. And I remember the first time I came across Descartes' idea that the mind and body are separate.
Separate.
Like the mind is not
physical.
Physical.
Yeah.
But the body
is a wild idea.
Pretty wild.
Right.
Yeah.
Raises so many questions.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's separate, how do they even
talk to each other?
Interact? What happens to the mind when you die?
Yeah.
Big
questions.
But then you have monism,
right,
which suggests that they're like two sides of the same coin.
Okay.
And then materialism, a type of monism, goes even further and says, look, it's all just physical stuff.
So it's all just
matter.
Interactions of matter.
Yeah. And that's...
Okay, so maybe consciousness isn't like a separate ethereal...
All right, yeah.
But it's like it comes from the complexity of this physical brain.
Right.
But then wouldn't that mean
like
this
a supercomputer...
computer, which is so powerful, has all these connections?
Exactly.
Could that be conscious?
That's one of the big questions that theories like integrated information theory are trying to... deal with.
So integrated information theory.
It suggests that consciousness emerges from the way information is integrated in the system.
So it's not just about like the number of connections, but like...
It's about the level of interconnectedness and like the richness of the information flow.
So how everything's kind of woven together. Yeah, and how they communicate.
Exactly.
Is that kind of it?
Yeah.
So it's making me think of like the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Which is this huge network.
Right.
Could that be?
That be conscious? That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it really highlights how IIT makes us rethink where we might find consciousness.
Okay.
And this theory, it proposes this measure called phi, which tries to like quantify the amount of integrated information in a system.
So it's not as easy as just counting connections. There's like deeper analysis.
Yeah, but IIT is not the only game in town.
Right.
There's also global workspace theory, which has a different perspective.
So what's that one?
Think of consciousness like a stage.
Okay. A stage.
And in the brain, it's like a central hub. And all these different actors, your thoughts, your senses, your feelings, they all come and go on this stage.
So if IIT is about the web of information, this one's about how that information is brought together.
Bringing it all together.
Yeah, and like
a spotlight.
Presented.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shining on different parts of your mental activity.
Creating this like stream of consciousness.
Exactly.
But even with all of these theories, we run into what's called the hard problem.
Ah, yes.
Of consciousness.
The hard problem.
Yeah.
This is the big one.
It is.
It's that question of why we have subjective experiences.
Why
does chocolate taste good?
Right.
Why doesn't it just feel like a bunch of...
feel like pleasure instead of just
it's a feeling.
Data input.
Yeah.
Right.
We can map out the brain.
Yeah.
We can identify patterns. We can create machines that like mimic things.
Yeah.
But explaining that feeling?
Right.
Still a huge challenge.
So we know the how, but we don't know the...
But the why.
Why,
The why is the big mystery.
Yeah.
is it unique to us, or could it be in other complex systems?
Which takes us back to AI.
Oh, yeah.
And whether
a big one.
a machine could ever...
Be conscious.
Yeah, be conscious.
Right.
And I think everyone listening is probably already thinking about the Turing test.
Right.
So, well, maybe instead of going over...
Yeah, let's skip that.
The basics of that.
Yeah.
Let's look at some of the...
Let's dig into...
critiques.
Yeah, the critiques.
Yeah.
Because the Turing test, it's been influential, but it has its problems.
Like what?
One big one is it just focuses on whether a machine can imitate human. But it doesn't really look at it like if there's actual understanding. The understanding or consciousness. Right. So a machine could pass the test.
Could totally pass.
But not really.
So
just be manipulating.
Be aware.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like a really good chatbot. Really good chatbot.
And that's what John Searle argued.
Okay.
With his Chinese room thought experiment.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
Right.
Yeah.
So imagine someone who doesn't understand Chinese.
Okay.
But they have this rule book that tells them how to answer questions.
Right.
They could seem like
they get it.
Totally understand.
Right.
Yeah.
But do they really?
Right.
It's like following a recipe.
Yeah.
You make a cake.
Uh-huh.
You don't need to know the chemistry to make a cake.
Exactly.
So passing the Turing test
doesn't
necessarily equal
consciousness.
Right. And there's other challenges. Yeah. Like the Winograd schema challenge.
What's that one?
That one focuses on a machine's ability to understand common sense reasoning.
Common sense.
Yeah, and context.
Okay.
So it's not just about processing language.
It's
about understanding the meaning.
Like the deeper.
Yeah, the deeper stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it seems like we're always trying to find new ways to assess
intelligence.
And consciousness.
Yeah, in machines. Yeah. But also in other species.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is where the study of animal consciousness, it's really interesting.
Where?
So, like the mirror test.
Oh, yeah.
This is a fascinating way to explore self-awareness.
Yeah.
You know, if an animal recognizes itself, it suggests some level of self-recognition.
It's not just seeing like another animal.
Exactly. Yeah. It's more than that.
Yeah. I've seen videos of like apes and even some birds that seem to
recognize themselves.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It really makes you wonder
what's going on in there.
What are they thinking?
What are they experiencing?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it sparks a lot of debate.
Right.
Some researchers say.
Yeah.
Certain animals, like primates and dolphins.
Right.
And even some birds.
Yeah.
They show evidence of self-awareness.
Okay.
Complex emotions. Yeah. Even theory of mind.
What's that?
Which the ability to understand that other beings have their own thoughts and intentions.
That's crazy.
It's pretty amazing. So their experience of consciousness, it might be different, but it's still rich and complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It challenges us to think differently about our place in the world.
Yeah.
And to recognize that there might be consciousness and sentience in other creatures.
Species,
Yeah.
This reminds me of like another aspect of consciousness.
Yeah.
Free will.
Oh, yeah.
If our actions are all just the result of our brain activity, like just neurons firing, is there any room for choice?
That is the question.
Yeah.
Philosophers and neuroscientists are still battling this out.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Some say free will is an illusion.
Right.
That our choices are already made.
Just based
on our genes, environment, our brains.
So like a domino effect?
Yeah, kind of.
One thing
leads to another.
Yeah.
It's all
predetermined.
Predetermined.
Yeah.
Okay.
But others say no.
Yeah.
Even if our choices are influenced by our biology, we still have some agency. Okay. We can reflect.
Yeah.
We can weigh different things.
Right.
We can make decisions.
So there's some level of...
Some level of conscious control.
Okay.
Yeah.
It makes me think about those studies that suggest...
Oh, yeah.
That our brain might make a decision.
Right.
Before we're even aware of it.
Yeah.
Like, how does that fit into this whole...
Those are experiments like the ones Benjamin Libet did, where he measured brain activity leading up to a decision, and he found this neural signal called the readiness potential.
The readiness potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it showed up before people even knew they were going to decide something.
So, like, our decision is already made.
Yeah. Is it just an afterthought?
Yeah.
Is it just a story our brain tells us after the fact?
That's crazy.
It's a radical idea.
Yeah.
It's caused a lot of controversy. Some say. Libet's experiments don't actually disprove free will.
Okay.
Because the readiness potential might just be like preparation for action.
Right. Getting ready. Not the decision itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the debate is still raging.
Still raging.
But it shows how complex this whole idea of free will is.
It is, and it gets even more complex when we think about
conscious machines.
Yeah.
What if we create AI that can make choices?
Learn, have self-awareness.
Right.
Do we
owe them some kind of consideration? Yeah.
That's the big question.
We're getting into some deep ethical waters here.
We are.
All right. I think we've given everyone listening a lot to think about.
A lot to chew on.
In this first part.
For sure.
Of our deep dive.
We've covered types of consciousness.
Yeah.
We've talked about the mind-body problem. We've even gone into AI.
Yeah.
Free will.
I mean, free will.
Big stuff.
Big stuff.
We've only scratched the surface.
I know.
There's so much more.
So much more.
To explore.
From the neuroscience.
Oh, yeah.
To altered states.
All that good stuff.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, we'll be back in the next part.
We'll be back.
To delve even deeper.
To go even deeper.
Into these mind-blowing concepts.
It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
All right.
So welcome back to our deep dive into consciousness.
I know. It's crazy to think.
Yeah.
How much we still don't understand.
Right.
About something that we experience every day.
It's true.
You know.
And before the break,
we
we're just starting to talk about
those
altered states.
Altered states.
Those experiences that take us beyond
the
day-to-day.
Yeah, like that deep focus you get when you're totally in the flow.
Yeah.
Or like insights you get during meditation, things like that.
Or even just like really vivid dreams that leave you wondering.
Like, have I been somewhere else?
Yeah, like what is reality?
Yeah.
They really make you question things.
They do.
Yeah.
Like, what if our everyday consciousness is just this tiny
sliver
of what's possible?
Yeah.
Okay, but let's get down to brass tacks.
Yeah.
What's happening in the brain during these altered states?
Well, neuroscience is starting to give us some clues.
Like what?
So, for instance, during meditation, studies show that brainwave patterns change.
So it's not just like you're feeling different. It's like
there are measurable
something's different.
Yeah.
Changes in brain activity.
Okay.
Like an increase in alpha and theta waves. Which are linked to
relaxation,
deep thought, things like that.
So with psychedelic experiences,
what's
going on there?
Research is showing how these substances can actually interrupt
normal communication pathways in the brain.
So they're like kind of like rewiring it. Yeah.
And that leads to like altered perceptions, different emotions, a sense of interconnectedness.
So it's like a different way of
a different way of experiencing the world.
The world, exactly.
Okay.
And this rewiring can actually lead to insights and therapeutic benefits.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, some studies are using psychedelics to treat things like depression,
anxiety.
Yeah.
It's interesting how these things that were once considered really bad
are now
being explored for their potential for healing.
Yeah. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit.
Okay.
Talk about sleep.
Sleep.
We all do it.
But
it's kind of weird.
It's kind of strange.
When you think about it.
If you really think about it.
We're unconscious.
We're out for hours. Every night.
So
sleep is still this big mystery in a lot of ways. But we are learning more and more about how crucial it is for our physical and mental health.
So what's happening now?
During sleep, our brains are busy consolidating memories, clearing out waste.
Okay, so like
basically recharging.
A reboot.
Yeah, a reboot for the brain.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not just like downtime.
Right.
Our brains are going through these different stages, each with different brainwave patterns, physiological changes.
And one of the most interesting is...
One of the most interesting...
REM sleep. Yeah, where we dream.
Dreamland, where things get really weird.
Yeah.
During REM sleep, our brain activity looks a lot like when we're awake, but our bodies
are basically paralyzed.
Well,
so we don't act out our dreams.
It's a safety mechanism.
Yeah.
But it's like Our consciousness
is going on an adventure.
On an adventure.
Yeah.
Every night.
In our minds.
Exploring these inner landscapes.
What does all this tell us?
About consciousness itself.
Yeah, about consciousness.
It suggests that consciousness is not this fixed thing.
Okay.
It's a dynamic process that can be changed by lots of things.
Okay.
Brain chemistry, senses, our thoughts.
Even our thought.
Even our thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not like an on-off switch?
No.
It's
more like a dimmer.
Dimmer switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
With consciousness flowing along a spectrum of awareness.
That's a great analogy.
And this dynamic nature, it opens up the possibility that we can expand our awareness beyond our normal waking state.
Okay, so this takes us back to expanded consciousness.
Expanded consciousness.
What are some ways people have said they've gotten to
access these states? What we talked about.
Meditation.
Psychedelics. But there are also things like
yoga, breath work, even certain types of art.
So lots of different paths.
Lots of different paths.
That can lead to this.
To these expanded states.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are there common things?
Yeah, there are some.
That people experience in these states.
A sense of interconnectedness. Transcending the ego.
Okay.
A deep sense of peace.
Sounds like a journey.
Yeah, a journey inward.
Yeah.
Peeling back the layers.
To discover.
To find a deeper,
more
expansive
awareness. Yeah. Exactly.
So we don't need special equipment. Or secret knowledge.
No.
To get there.
The capacity is within us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about creating the right conditions.
Right.
And being open to the experience.
This makes me think of near-death experiences.
Oh, near-death experiences.
Yeah.
We touched on that earlier.
Yeah. People who've had them often talk about like leaving their bodies.
Leaving the body.
Seeing a light.
Seeing a light.
Feeling really peaceful.
Yeah.
And connected.
Yeah, near-death experiences. They're fascinating.
They are?
They really can change people's lives. And while there are some possible explanations, like physiological things, like oxygen deprivation or endorphin release, a lot of people see them as
proof,
evidence for the soul, or consciousness separate from the body.
It's definitely something that causes
a lot of debate. Yeah.
But even setting aside the paranormal stuff,
what can we
learn
from this? Yeah, about consciousness.
Yeah.
It highlights how resilient consciousness is. Even in extreme situations, it makes us rethink the relationship between consciousness and the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like we're always
pushing the boundaries of our understanding
of what we know.
Yeah, through science, but also through personal exploration of these extraordinary states of awareness.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. Yeah. And the deeper we go, the more mysteries we're going to find.
So like the more we learn, the
more we realize
we don't know.
I don't know.
The study of consciousness.
It's a journey.
It really is.
And to the unknown.
Yeah.
It's a quest to understand what it means to be alive.
To be aware.
To be aware.
Yeah.
It takes us from the brain to the cosmos.
From the everyday.
To the everyday.
To the extraordinary. Yeah. And this journey?
It's not over.
It's not over.
It's just beginning.
Yeah. And as we keep exploring, it's important to be open to new possibilities.
Yeah. To challenge what we think we know.
Yeah.
And to embrace the mystery.
Of it all.
Yeah, the mystery of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It is. Back again for more deep diving.
Right back at it.
We've been on quite a journey.
Oh, it's been.
Exploring consciousness.
It has.
From those like nuts and bolts.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty.
Of the brain.
Yeah.
To those moments where it feels like awareness goes beyond.
The everyday.
Yeah. Beyond the ordinary.
Yeah, and it's fascinating to me how we can analyze all those brainwaves and still be left wondering.
The big question.
What is it like to actually be a conscious mind?
The question that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Right?
We've talked about altered states.
Right.
Those glimpses.
Yeah. Beyond the veil. Yeah. But what about this idea of expanded consciousness?
Oh, expanded consciousness.
Is there more to tap into?
Yeah, it's a tantalizing idea.
Yeah.
It really is.
Than just like our daily...
Pushing the boundaries.
Yeah.
Further than we normally go.
Yeah, like...
Or we just think about deep meditation.
Okay.
Psychedelic journeys. Those moments of intense creativity.
Yeah.
And when you're just in the zone.
Totally in the flow.
These could all be hints that there's a wider spectrum of consciousness than we normally experience.
It's like we're tuned into one radio station. Yeah. And there's
the whole dial.
The whole dial to explore.
Exactly.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that a lot of these expanded states have
these commonalities.
Yeah, like what?
People report feeling interconnected. Like the boundaries between themselves and everything else dissolve.
A sense of oneness.
Oneness with the universe.
Yeah.
Even mystical experiences.
Yeah, and that makes me think of those moments when you're looking up at the stars.
Oh, yeah.
And you feel...
Yeah, you feel small.
Small and connected.
Like connected to something.
Just something bigger.
Bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like...
It really challenges
our
typical view.
Of consciousness just being.
That consciousness is just in our heads.
In our heads.
Yeah.
What if it's not?
What if it's more like a fundamental part
of reality itself?
Yeah.
So instead of consciousness coming from
matter.
Matter.
Matter comes.
Matter comes from
consciousness.
Consciousness.
Whoa, it's
a big flip.
A big flip.
And it challenges
materialism.
Yeah.
And opens up a whole new way of seeing things.
And this is where
panpsychism comes in. Yeah. So the idea that consciousness is everywhere.
It's a property of the universe.
So even like
present in all things
to varying degrees
has some level of consciousness.
A little spark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's mind-blowing.
It is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It raises so many questions.
It does.
More than it answers.
Yeah.
But it also invites us to see the world
differently.
In a new way.
Yeah.
To see the interconnectedness.
Of everything. Okay, let's bring it back down.
Let's ground ourselves a bit.
To Earth a little bit.
Yeah.
We've been in the clouds.
We have.
For a while here.
Up in the ether.
Yeah. So how can these ideas about expanded consciousness affect our daily lives?
Well, one way is they can inspire us to cultivate practices.
That nurture connection and compassion.
Okay.
If consciousness isn't limited to our individual minds, our actions, our thoughts, our intentions.
They all have an impact.
They ripple outward.
Yeah.
They affect the world around us.
It's like the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
But for
consciousness.
Consciousness.
Exactly.
Yeah, so even small acts.
Small acts.
Of kindness.
Or
moments of mindfulness.
Yeah.
Can have a big impact.
Can have huge consequences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And personally.
And on a personal level.
Yeah.
Embracing this possibility.
Of expanded consciousness.
Expanded consciousness can fuel our sense of wonder and curiosity.
Curiosity about life.
It encourages us to be open.
To new things.
To new experiences.
New perspectives.
New ways of seeing. The world.
The world and ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's
an invitation.
Lifelong invitation.
To explore.
Yeah.
To keep pushing.
Boundaries.
About awareness.
To recognize that.
There's always more.
There's always more to discover.
More to learn.
More to experience. Yeah. I think we've given everyone.
We've given our listeners.
A lot to think about.
A lot to chew on today.
Yeah.
From the brain.
From the nitty-gritty.
To expanded awareness.
To the vastness.
Yeah. And it seems like consciousness is going to keep.
Oh, it's the gift.
Fascinating us.
That keeps on giving.
For a long time.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So as we continue to unravel the mysteries, it's important.
It's so important
to approach it. With
humility,
curiosity,
and an open mind. Because really, understanding consciousness is...
It's all about understanding ourselves. Well said.
Thank you.
And to everyone listening.
Yeah.
Keep questioning.
Keep questioning.
Keep exploring.
Keep
diving deep.
Into
this amazing world. Of consciousness. Who knows what we might find?
Who knows?
As we journey inward.
And
outward.
Expanding our
understanding.
Of what it means.
To be aware. To be alive.
To be alive.
To be.